Today, in our continuing series on free enterprise with the Florida Chamber of Commerce, we're joined by Mark Wilson, President and CEO, to discuss a very important topic for businesses, and that is workers' compensation insurance and its impact on small business. Look, if you're in business in Florida, you know the government requires you to purchase workers' comp insurance. So we need to make sure it's fair, it works, and it's competitive. 2 out of every 3 jobs created in Florida are created by small businesses. Small businesses who are often the first to experience the financial impact of high workers' comp rates. Mark, give us some history of where workers' comp rates are right now and what's on the horizon that may cause those rates to increase.
You're correct. Workers' comp is an incredibly important issue for job creators here in Florida. And at the Florida Chamber, we're happy to say that thanks to the work of the Florida's business community and also, back in 2003, the Florida legislature, workers' comp rates continue to decrease. But the success we've had, Preston, it's being challenged by several of these billboard trial lawyers and even a few pending Supreme Court cases that, frankly, it literally could reverse the trend that we've had in lower rates. And so, Preston, from a historical standpoint, back in 2003, Florida's rates were the second highest in America. And the Florida Chamber helped pass reforms that have actually lowered premiums for small businesses by over 60% in the last 12 or 13 years. And again, it was a united business community that joined with the Florida Chamber, successfully urge our elected leaders, our elected officials, if you will, the legislature, to address what are called cost drivers. And at that time, attorney's fees were higher than the national average, and something had to be done about it, Preston. So as a result, both injured workers and job creators benefited, and the injured workers continued to receive the care they deserve and access to the courts, but job creators experienced the benefits of cost controls of reining in the attorney's fees. So I hope that provides some background.
Mark, as I understand it, these efforts that you've mentioned, the Florida Chamber have been leading in, they have in the last 10 years helped lower the workers' comp rates by quite a bit. I mean, when you're talking 60%, that's a significant number. But you also mentioned the Florida Supreme Court and some pending cases. Tell us about those and how they could work to undo all the progress that's been made.
Yeah, I will, Preston. And, 60% is a big savings. And unfortunately, a lot of these plaintiff trial lawyers, they don't like it. They used to make a lot of money doing this, and now we've been able to advantage small businesses and injured workers, and so they're trying to undo that. So there are actually 3 pending cases. One is called Westfall versus the City of St. Petersburg. Another is Castellanos versus Nextdoor Company, and the third is Stahl versus Hialeah Hospital. All 3 could again escalate rates. So in an effort to help prevent that, the Florida Chamber filed a friend of the court brief with the Florida Supreme Court, and we're urging the justices to keep workers' comp rates fair and not let trial lawyers inflate the rates with their tactics. And so as we advocate for workers' comp, remember the potential impact of the Supreme Court's ruling, it literally could threaten Florida's competitiveness.
That's not a good thing.
No, it's not. And, at a national level, we've been concerned about the Supreme Court becoming an advocate. And here in Florida, unfortunately, we see a pattern where over the last several years, we've passed major reforms in Florida that have made Florida more competitive. And even our state Supreme Court here seems to be undoing many of these common sense reforms, and we're concerned about it.
Well, Mark, that competitiveness is vital, obviously, to Florida's future economically. And even though we've chronicled the success that Florida's had, thanks to what the Florida Chamber and businesses are doing to fight these rate increases and to try keeping them low, Florida, sadly, to this day is considered, and this isn't my term, but the term of the American Tort Reform Association, Florida's considered a judicial hellhole. So what is it that we can learn from that?
Well, Preston, unfortunately, you're correct again. And, it's like a game of whack-a-mole. Well, the Florida Chamber passes meaningful tort reform one year, and these billboard trial lawyers find another way around it. And so, again, you're correct. So what happens is these plaintiff attorneys, they maneuver around it. So we fix workers' comp in one area,
Mm-hmm.
and because they don't like the rates that they're receiving, now they're taking us back to court and using every possible legal maneuver to raise rates and make Florida less competitive. And so from a lawsuit abuse standpoint, there's actually a group nationally called the Institute for Legal Reform, and they actually rank all 50 states. And Florida has fallen to the bottom 10 states in lawsuit abuse or legal climate. We rank 44 out of 50 today. And Preston, for those listening to this program, the average family of four in Florida pays what's called a lawsuit abuse tax of about $3,400 a year because of our legal climate. And unfortunately, when you're looking at where to locate your company or where to expand your company,
Mm-hmm.
site selectors are looking at legal climate and lawsuit abuse now. And Florida's winning in so many areas, from taxes to our education system to our transportation network. But everybody knows this is a black eye on Florida and something we need to fix, and we need to do it now.
Mark, what can businesses do specifically to fight back?
Well, that's the good news. We've put together a massive coalition. We have a grassroots network all over Florida. We have several local chamber partners that work with us. And I would encourage businesses to join our coalition to help keep workers' comp working. And it's real easy getting involved. It's easy to add your voice. People literally can simply call Carolyn Johnson at the Florida Chamber, and her phone number is area code 850-521-1235. That was 850-521-1235.
Mark, thanks very much for the time today and the continued important work of the Florida Chamber.
Thank you, Preston.